Welcome, everyone. This is our weekly AI tinkering session. It's 40 minutes, and we deep dive into one specific AI tool or feature. And today, we are tinkering with a sophisticated prompt that is called the program simulation. It's designed to make ChatGPT operate like a program. And the goal of this session for all of us, me and you, is to learn from the way this prompt has been engineered so that we can get even better at prompt engineering. Sounds like a cool idea, everybody?
Yes.
Good. Before we start, as usual, here is a sneak peek at our next event. We will be tinkering with Mural AI features. So one of the cool things that you might not know, it's also a frustrating thing, is that they have a partnership with Microsoft Copilot. Okay, so it's great because we're going to play with Copilot. It's frustrating because most of us cannot access the Mural AI features without an enterprise account. So that Tinker session will be a unique opportunity to see them in action. And we're going to have Jim, the chief evangelist of Mural, with us to do the demo. So 40 minutes next Thursday. All right. Today we are tinkering with a sophisticated prompt, and remember, the goal is to learn from it and to get better at prompt engineering. I'm going to start with a quick explanation, and my challenge is to do a 10-minute demo so that you can see it in action and we have enough time for the discussion. Let's see if I can tackle this challenge. So as a reminder, after the demo, we'll transition to the Tinker session where you get to choose what we explore. So the program simulation, it's a prompt that has been created by someone called Giuseppe Scalamonia, and he has described that prompt in an article in September 2023. Basically, it's an experiment with the goal of making ChatGPT operate in a way that simulates a program. If you want to know more, I'm going to give you a link to the article. There is a long article that you can read. So to test the concept behind the prompt, Giuseppe customized it into one specific example that is called the Interactive Innovators Workshop. So let's see that in action. And as usual, we won't do the demo live because I don't want to waste all the time waiting for ChatGPT's response. Directly, one of the things you can see is that one of the main feature of the prompt, so here I start. It welcomes me with a little explanation of what it can do. But the main thing is here, the main menu, okay? All the options are presented as a menu with nice emojis. And the way to use it is very simple. As a user, you can indicate an option by giving a number or just phrasing it. For example, if I want to work on a new idea, I could either say 1, or I could say ideate, and it's going to be smart enough to understand that ideate means work on a new idea. Okay. So indeed, it understood what I wanted. And now it proposes some options that are, all these options here are inside the prompt. You'll see that. So it proposes the options that are described in the prompt. And I'm going to select start from scratch. So I say 1. And at the same time, I'm describing the idea that I would like to develop with with ChatGPT. So the idea in this example is a Gen AI application to learn new languages. As always, ChatGPT is very positive. It really shows that it's an application made by American people. If it would have been a French chat bot, it would have said, that's a really bad idea, but let's continue if you really want to develop that idea. Okay, anyway, so fantastic. That's an intriguing concept. And then you see it indicates a few categories to consider to develop the idea. And that's very interesting because at this point, nothing is described in the prompt. When we'll be inside the prompt, you'll notice that nothing is explained about that. So basically what you're seeing right now is ChatGPT natural behavior. So it goes on. By the way, I was lazy. I didn't want to answer the question. So I said, just make it up. And then it created the concept, my new Gen AI language application. Okay. And it says, what do you think? Feel free to add, modify, or suggest any changes. And I just say, I'm good with it. Okay. So in fact, it goes on with the conversation until we reach a point where the idea or concept is well described and I'm satisfied with it. And once I'm good with it, poof, back to the main menu. So you see that? This is the main menu with the different features and possibilities. And now I can continue. So it's like a program. You do one stuff and then you click on another button and you do something else. This is why it's called a program simulation. For example, I could tell it to retrieve previous ideas, and it tells me there was no previous ideas. We just did one. You crazy bastard. No, it didn't say that. And then I say, okay, free, let's summarize the current idea. And then it does summarize. And once it has summarized the idea, now I can retrieve the ideas because it's like saving the idea. So basically, it's simulating a program where you can do a lot of stuff of ideating and exploring ideas and developing ideas. So that's essentially how it works. It displays the features. You have a menu to launch them, like clicking a button. Then it does its job. It's a conversation. And you're back at the top menu and you can continue on and on that. Makes sense? Okay. By the way, you see the QR code here. If you want, I've created a GPT out of this prompt, so you can play with it on the side if you want. Okay. If I'm a little bit boring, for example, and you don't know what to do, you could play with the GPT at the same time. Okay. So what time is it, timekeeper?
21. You're 4 minutes ahead of schedule.
Excellent, because I'm not finished. Now I want to show you, I want to show you inside the prompt. Okay. The really cool thing about this prompt is that we get the appearance of a very sophisticated innovation program. If you had to, you might not be coders. I've developed a lot of applications, but if we had to develop an application with such a behavior, it would be a huge program to develop. Okay. But here, in fact, we did that with very little code in brackets, very little prompt writing. So let's have a look. Here, as I said, it was a GPT, but you could have done that within a chat. And I'm going to go in the configuration. And this is the prompt, okay? And it's not really big. It's quite small, in fact. This is it. And here I can show you, you have 4 main sections. The first section here is very interesting. It's the role of the task. If you've seen my crash course, sometimes you can define a role. And here, the role is you are a program. Okay? You're not an expert in marketing. You're not an expert in facilitation. You are a program. It opens a lot of possibilities. Maybe you could say you are a bear, or you are a duck, or you are a locomotive. Maybe you have some applications about that. Okay? The second part, this is where we describe the core features of the program. So it's here, you have 6 features, okay? Work on a new idea, expand, summarize, retrieve, continue working, and memory usage, okay? And here you can see that Giuseppe described them in very little detail. This is why ChatGPT took the lead after that, okay? Because there was just ideate, and then ChatGPT has to, based on its training data, think on the best way to ideate. But because it's just an example of this prompt. If you wanted to do a real one, my advice would be that each one of these features would be like a mega prompt on its own, okay? Each one of the feature you could develop it as much as you can. So finally, next, you have a few bullet points of specifications. These ones are mainly to describe the user experience as a mix of conversation and displaying the menu. And the last section is the bootstrapped. Okay, how to start the program by displaying the top menu. So it's only that, okay? Only that. Who you are, a program, the features that you have, a little bit of spec, and when you start, you display the top menu. And the rest is left to ChatGPT to make it up. End of the demo. Charles, what's the time?
Right on time. Nice job.
Yeah, I did it.
All right,
Okay, but I did
cool.
it very quickly, so maybe it's not totally clear enough, but it's not a problem because now we have plenty of time to tinker with it. Okay, here are all the things that we can do together. Okay, so a few suggestions. We can dissect how it works. We can look at each one of the parts in more detail. We can remove or tweak some of the parts and see how it changes the behavior. So that's the first thing we can do. Second thing we can do, we can discuss the pros and cons of using these patterns in our prompt, okay? Because it's really cool to see that menu, but it's not ideal for every single use case. Number three, it's my gift to you. I've created a template from this prompt. I made a little bit of enhancement, by the way. And so I could show you this template and give it to you if you are interested. And the fourth one is question and answer, and whatever you want, we can discuss right now. So, by the way, the official timing end of this session is at 50, which gives us plenty of time for discussion. At the end of this tea, we have so you can say bye. We have a 2-minute breaks. And then if you want to stay after the break, we can stay for casual discussion either on this topic or on any other topic, including what you're going to do this weekend. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to launch a little survey, a little poll.
And I was too quick.
Because you cannot.
I just selected my favorite and then submitted.
Yeah, that's my mistake. I should have been clear on the instructions. Okay, and poll. So it's like Christmas before Christmas. You want to see my gift. I think we're going to do first dissect and tweak the prompt to get a really good understanding, because then it would be easier for me to show you the template that I've built on it. Okay. This is why I did let me open the chat. Yeah. Feel free to ask any kind of suggestions on what you would like to do, either on the chat or open your mic. We are a small group, so let's take advantage of that. Unmute your mic and propose something to do that you'd like to see in the prompt. And that I've created a GPT, so it's very easy to tweak the prompt and then see what it means.
So I thought,
In,
oh, this is Charles. I was going to say, when I first saw the code, I was expecting it to be a lot longer than what it actually has. I was impressed with its ability to have a program like that with such a little amount of instructions. And I also was wondering, did you tell it what emojis to put in? But then down there at the bottom, you just said make some emojis. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that works.
Yeah, it's exactly what I try to explain, that it's a mix of
Yeah.
very structured prompting for the behavior of the menu. You should
Mhm.
propose features, these features, and it should be displayed in a menu. But then for each one of the features, look at this one. This one is expand on an idea, is
Yeah.
just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words. Okay, so that's why. But man, if you start a chat with ChatGPT and say, I have this idea, please expand, it's going to do a lot of things, and you're going to have a big conversation, and it's going to do a lot of things. So this is why then the normal behavior of ChatGPT takes the lead. And
Yeah.
when you're building a prompt, I think one of the learning that we have is when we build a prompt, we must decide where do we put the structure and the detail, and where do we leave for the fuzziness and the openness and the flexibility of letting ChatGPT doing its stuff with its basic training data. Does it make sense what I'm saying right now? Oh, salut Rox.
I'm like,
You're gonna do 10 push-ups. I know she can do much more. She's a yoga ninja. Yeah, so that's one of the things. Personally, and as I said, he built this as a demonstrator, but if I really wanted to do an innovators interactive workshop application, each one of these feature, I would build a mega prompt for it. For example, expand on an idea, I would find a process of saying, first of all, you analyze what is good about the idea, what are the problems of that idea, and then you brainstorm ways to step it up. Maybe it's going to ring a bell for Team. It's Team's GPS framework. Again, as I say every time, the more you have expertise on, if I have expertise on how the best way to expand an idea, I'm going to enforce that expertise in my prompt.
Mhm.
And I'm going to get better results than the normal behavior. Anything else?
One thing that I'm curious about is the token memory usage.
Ah,
I don't remember seeing that in the demo, but I may have just missed it.
no. So this one is not working very well.
Okay.
We can try, but it's going to take a little bit of time. We can do something like that. And then I'm going to say one, develop
So
an
one
idea.
side question, and maybe there's another expert. Why was ChatGPT working so slowly this time compared to previous times?
Right now, since they did the demo, the last OpenAI Dev conference, they have such a success that they have big constraints on their servers. And this is why now you have only one DALI image at a time instead of 4 at the beginning. This is why everything is so slow. So hopefully they're going to scale everything thanks to their partnership with Microsoft. They have Azure. So that's why everything is so slow. And this is why I cannot do this demo real times. So develop an idea for GenAI language translator. And then I'm going to ask to go back to the menu. Yes. Okay. And then I'm going to ask for the token memory usage. So 6. Yeah, just type the number I know. So what it does is that it's going to count the number of the token
Right.
is a bit of word. It's something that is not, it's quite difficult to define. And it seems that it's very precise, but I've made some tests and other people have made some tests. In fact, if I ask again, it's going to give me a completely different answer. So it's not reliable. But
Okay.
it's just a demonstrator that you can put a feature and then it does something out of that feature.
Sorry, Alex, why would you put a token limit? Why is this important? Sorry.
It was absolutely not important. Again,
Okay.
you have two things. You have the pattern of using a menu and simulate like a program. That's really what I think is interesting in what we are exploring today. And then there is this demonstrator that the guy put some different features, and one of them is this token counters.
Okay.
But it's not very important, in fact.
Okay. Okay.
And it doesn't work. It's typically, you have to know what ChatGPT is good at and what ChatGPT is bad at. And this kind of calculation, typically where it is bad. What would you like to see next? Would you like maybe to see, I don't know, if we don't tell it that we want to simulate that you're an application, do you think it's going to work? I don't know. It seems like a
Does the
great idea.
workshop mean in this case? What do they mean by that?
It's just the name that it gave. It's a workshop because you brainstorm with the AI to innovate.
Yeah, I see.
If you just say, something like, let's try. Would you like to try? You are an expert in innovation. So not simulate a program, core features. I have to keep core features because it's defined elsewhere. Core features to innovate. Okay. So here I don't tell it you are a program. But maybe this tinkering is not great because it might be elsewhere in the prompt that it's a program, for example, here. So it's not a perfect test. Let's start. Does it work? It's consistent to what I tried is that the role, when you give a role to the AI, it's a little bit of additional context. Okay. So it's not mandatory for it to work. It's just a way to give it a little bit more of understanding of how it should behave. Okay. So this is why when I tell people how to build a prompt, the role is something that it's not the first thing you need to do. It can work without it. It's just a refinement that you add at the end of your prompt. Okay. If you didn't see the crash course, you should really see it because if you don't know how to build a mega prompt, this is one of the, you're lucky because this is one of the easiest way for you to get much better at using a ChatGPT. Anything you would like to see next in the prompt?
What could be some other way of using this mega prompt?
So that's we can discuss a little bit of the pros and cons of using that pattern. So basically,
And
when I worked on preparing this session, I asked myself, so it's cool, it's nice, you have this menu, but is it really helping the user experience? In what way is it helping the user experience? And I'm asking you the question, do you think it's helping the user experience to have this kind of menu with features?
Couldn't you just have it as conversation starters?
Sorry?
Could you not have the main menu as conversation starters? So you're
Yeah, I like, and one of the things that I like is it's very clear what I need to answer to ChatGPT. So sometimes it's much easier to say one, and I don't have to think of all the different options. So I like the fact that when ChatGPT doesn't ask me something complex, it just gives me the three options, and I just have to write down one. So I think it's an improvement to how to converse with ChatGPT. Obviously, it cannot be used all the time. But one of the things I dislike, I think that it tried to simulate a program, but with a program, it would have been you click on a button and then you can do something else. A program sometimes with a user interface is a much better choice and a much more productive choice than having a chat. You see what I mean? One of the things that, I have some notes about the thing that Yeah, the thing is a conversational interface is good until it is not. Something it's just annoying to write down instead of just clicking. Also, you wait a lot. It can only do one thing at a time. If you have a real program with the different windows and features, you can launch several tasks at the same time. So this is why for me, the future, maybe the present, is with hybrid interface that combine a chat and a typical visual interface on the side. There is something else about the pros and cons of this is that if you know about the context window, right? Can someone explain to me what's the context window?
Yeah, it's basically the ability of ChatGPT to remember what you have been discussing.
So this is exactly, so this instructions about the menu is sent at the beginning of the conversation. If you continue the conversation for a long time, you'll see that in the end, you're gonna lose some information. For example, at some point, I did a long conversation with it. Maybe I can try to find it back. It's here. In the end, it was giving me the menu still, but without the emojis. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, ChatGPT.
So it forgot the instruction in the beginning around include a
Yeah,
modal.
yeah. So yeah, you see here, I have the menu. Just here, I have the emojis, and here I don't have them. With that kind of program, in fact, the user is going to think that it's going to work like a program and is going to keep this consistent behavior throughout the conversation. But in fact, due to the context window that is limited and the memory that is limited, at some point, it's gonna forget about these big instructions and it's gonna start more and more behaving like the normal ChatGPT.
Do you have any sense about whether the custom instructions or the what's running behind the GPT is making the behavior any more predictable than it would if you said you're a
Yeah,
doctor or a lawyer as opposed to saying you're a program? Did it create
if you
a
put
stronger fence?
if you put the program behavior, you're a program in the custom instructions because these are
But I'm
system.
referring to the GPT that you created. A
Ah,
custom instruction might have been the wrong term, but by saying you're a
ah,
program, do you think
yeah,
it influenced the behavior to allow it to degrade less in terms of
no,
no?
because the custom instructions are not repeat like system instructions. So at some point, it's going to lose them.
Okay, so Alex,
Yeah.
going on my role as a timekeeper, you got about 6 minutes in the official session. Did you want to move on to that other topic in your
Yes.
gift?
Yeah. Okay. So here I've made a little template. In fact, I've re-engineered based on the prompt that the innovator prompt, and I created, I think it's here, and I can edit it. So I'm gonna put that text. I'm gonna give you the text in the club in a comment in the club because I won't be able to paste all of that. So in fact, I've re-engineered everything. So it's a prompt that you can copy and paste, and that it's a little bit more structured than the one at the beginning. And you can edit it to your own use case just by changing everything that is below here. So the only thing you have to do is to change the program goal. Here, the example is help the user write great LinkedIn post. And here you put all the core functions. I just did it very quickly. Draft, develop an idea into draft, improve the draft, assess the pros and cons, proofread, retone, etc. So here, you can change it to whatever you want. Okay, if you want a prompt that speeches, you could imagine all the different features for it. Here again, I've just described them with one sentence, but if you use, you could transform that into a mega prompt. You could put role, you are a pro in drafting super catchy blah, blah, blah. And then you could do the task. So you could really get into a lot of detail because I've used Markdown. So this is level 1, core functions. The first function is draft, and then inside it, you can have this structure with the level 3. And you just copy and paste your mega prompt, and you can do it for each one of the feature. And all the rest, you don't have to change. I've done that for you. I defined the role, the behavior, and also I made a little bit of a improvement because not only you have top menus, but you can have sub menus and stuff like that. So let me.
Question: does ChatGPT intuitively understand that levels, like more hashtags, means a sub thing within it?
Absolutely, that's a best
Oh, that's
practice.
cool.
That's a best practice in crafting prompt. If you wanted to really understand the prompt, you do the structure like that. And the other advantage is for you, it's much easier to maintain the prompt thanks to this structure and to correct the bugs. So if I close it now, and I'm going to start. So it's going to take my example, which is a way to, I'm here to craft amazing LinkedIn post, blah, blah. And now I have my menu with my nice emojis. And I'm going to say one, I want to draft a post. So again, as I say, I encourage you, I'm going to post that in the platform. Try to tinker with it and create your own application. And then it asks me, then normal behavior, because I didn't create a mega prompt. But anyway, I'm going to say something like, the topic is happy birthday ChatGPT, because it's 1 year today. And I'm going to say, make up everything else because I'm lazy. Of course, I don't do that. So it's going to craft the prompt. And I know it's 49, Charles. Blah, blah, yes. Oh, it's so slow. I just want to go a little bit further so that you can see that it's going to display a menu. So of course, the post is very bad because I didn't define. So we find all the cringy stuff about the normal style of ChatGPT. Let's appreciate the wonders of AI. So bad. Okay, let's say it's good. And now this is my improvement. For each one, it gives you a sub menu and you can go back to the main menu. So I'm going to copy and paste that so you can have fun with it. And I'm getting back to the main menu.
The way it asks you for some additional information, is it something that you defined in your initial prompt?
No, as I said, right now, all my features are described in a few words, which means that ChatGPT is going to do it the way it thinks it's the best way. But again, it's not my advice. You should write a mega prompt for each one of the features so that you enforce the process, your expertise inside the program. The only problem is that you're going to start to have a huge prompt. And sometimes huge prompts are bad because trying to do too many things in the same prompt, you're going to lose some power. And sometimes it's better to create several prompts for several tasks.
Okay.
So,
Alex, you and I have been talking separately about maybe trying to find some of the unexpected connections that ChatGPT can make. And when we focus down on an area of expertise, you are a programmer, you are an expert in, we are using a limiting function to focus down.
yeah.
What would happen if we used a limiting function to broaden, or maybe not broaden is perhaps the wrong word, but to fiddle around? What if you said, you are a wild child, you were raised by wolves? Yes, that's who I am. Well, I wonder what would happen.
I had this idea too when I saw that it was giving a role of a program. I never had thought about doing something like that. We usually give it roles of experts to the topic, and giving something else would be very interesting. I wouldn't expect breakthrough and significant changes because, as I said, it changes the behavior at the fringe, okay? But that would be very interesting to explore. As usual, team, you have some wild ideas. I'm going to, for the sake of the some of you who need to leave early, I'm going to say it's already 53. Let's take a 2 minutes break, okay? I'm going to close my camera for 2 minutes. This way, if you want to leave, I won't see you. And if you want to stay, when I open my camera in 2 minutes, you're going to be there and we can have a follow-up discussion. Okay? For those of you who are going to leave, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed and see you next time. See you in 2 minutes for the others.
This was fascinating. I'm looking forward to the links that you send or that you post.
Yeah, I'm going to post that on the platform. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
We have a Haggis session next week, I think.
We do. I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, by the way, have you seen that? It detected the thumb up.
Yeah, it does a nice job sometimes. Actually, you can also do this. I think you can do this. And then you get, whoa.
Doesn't work with me.
We have to put your fingers together so it doesn't, it's pretty limited. There you go, like that. Apparently you don't have the right mojo for this.
No, I think it knows that I have zero empathy and zero love for
You're
anyone.
French. It knows you're French is the problem there. Bye.
Salut. Ciao,
Thank you so
Maxime.
much.
Salut.
Alex, I have a question actually.
Yeah.
The window that you were showing us, sorry, because I missed the beginning. What
Yeah,
does
no
it
problem.
mean from these two panels like this? Where is it?
The two panels on my shared screen?
Not the one on
Ah.
the left. I know it's just slides, but the main ones on the right.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. This is because I've built a GPT, and you can only build GPTs if you have a pro account. There is a video that I've just published about GPTs. Basically, a GPT is a personal assistant. So you can create a GPT that is very specialized to do something. So you could have your writing editor or your marketing positioning specialist or whatever. And it's a combination of instructions. And more than that, you can have some knowledge file. It's very interesting. I'm exploring that a lot. It doesn't work very well, but it has a huge potential because you can give it some specialized knowledge that only you have through the knowledge file. And then you can even connect it to other applications.
Awesome.
So for example, you could do a GPT that generate ideas and then send these ideas to a Storms.
I forgot my question. So you build that and then you can use it in your general chat then?
Yeah, look, what you do is that I have all my GPTs that are listed here. For example, I have created, this one is the best GPT in the world. I've created emoji GPT. And I'm going to say, so translate my sentence into emojis. And maybe I'm going to say my marketing plan is bullshit. But sure, please provide blah, blah. It's so slow. This is painful. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's going to pick what? I love it.
And then you can try to put your own emojis, but I don't have.
The GPTs are explained in the previous video that you just posted.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will watch it.
Look, let's take this one.
And it's going to make a sentence from it.
And I even made some refinements. Love at first sight, sparkling with joy. And look, I've made some refinements. I say, okay, now this means give me 3 alternatives.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's great.
So this is a GPT, very
Okay,
useful.
it's like a mini app within.
Yeah, you could create mini AI apps, like mini AI chatbots, in fact. That would be the perfect way to describe it.
And it compensates from the risk of doing two mega prompts which are too big, as you were mentioning. So you can focus more on a specific task.
You could do a GPT that does a lot of things. Typically, if you use the program with the menu pattern, that could be a problem if you have too many features and each one of the features is a mega prompt. So even a GPT could become too big to be useful and to be working well. So the best practice is like what you say, to build very specialized GPTs and maybe then to chain them. At some point, we will be able to chain them.
Yeah.
So maybe you build a GPT that is very good at brainstorming ideas for LinkedIn post, and then you build a GPT that is very good at doing the post, but you don't try to put everything inside the same prompt or the same GPT, which is very overlapping.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Roxanne.
Alex, do you think GPTs are going to be like apps in the App Store in the future? I've read some predictions about that happening once they get much more popular.
So there's going to be the App Store soon from OpenAI, and it's going to be like the golden rush because you already have tens of thousands of GPTs that have been created.
Yeah.
So it's going to be totally crowded because a lot of people think that they're going to make a lot of money out of GPTs.
Yeah.
But I think that the one that's going to make a lot of money first are the one who already have a big following. If you have 30K followers on Twitter and you say, I have a great GPT, then you're going to have a lot of people using that GPT. So then it's going to be pushed on the front page of the GPT store. Yeah. Otherwise, if you have 10 followers like me on Twitter, you're going to say, I have a great GPT, and no one will be aware of that. And I've already looked, by the way, for example, for emoji. I was telling myself, this GPT is so good, I'm going to be a billionaire thanks to that. So I looked, and there are already 10 or 15 alternatives existing of this one. So, yeah, but this being said, I really like the concept. The only thing is, right now, it's not perfect, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's only now. For example,
Yeah.
the knowledge file, which is probably the most amazing thing that you can put in a GPT without any code knowledge, they don't work very well. It's very difficult to use them, to leverage them the right way. And then the actions, same, Zapier actions are not working because authentication, it's buggy right now. So it's not ready, but the potential is immense. And even if you don't want to make money out of them, building personal GPTs with personal data in the knowledge file, I think it's game changer. And that's why I've put this thing about now I'm not taking notes manually. Now I'm digitizing everything because I know that at some point, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe in 6 months, I'm going to be able to put all my notes, all my thoughts, everything in knowledge files, and I will be able to leverage them in a great way thanks to an AI assistant.
Yeah. Go ahead. On mute. I've heard they've improved their cybersecurity. Like when it first came out, you could figure out what somebody's GPT was, but now it's harder to do that. Have you played around with that?
First of all, I'm not trying to make money out of GPTs because
Yeah.
I think it's going to be too difficult. And in fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do GPTs that connect to my other ventures. So I'm going to make a GPT that connect to Storms, a GPT that connects to my new product that is Spark It Up. So in fact, the GPT is not just going to add some features, but it's easy. Just you can stop. So here I haven't started it. I'm going to stay stop, replay everything.
Thank you so much, Alex. I will watch your
Salut.
previous video and I will try to be on time next week.
No problem. You come whenever you want. No problem.
Thank you so much.
See you soon, Roxanne. It was good to see you.
All right. Bye, Alex. Thanks for everything.
Just this thing here, if you want to see what's
Oh, sure.
replay every.
Yep.
I think I might have.
What?
Oh yeah, I have protected this one.